So we're going to go ahead and begin. Can everybody hear us just fine? We're talking through mass in this room. Awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up. So welcome to the Southeast/Central group for professional learning. That is this very long name here, Reimagining Classrooms by Integrating Culturally Responsive Technology. A long name basically to say that we are going to go through the 6 CRE mindsets this year and actually unpack what they mean and talk about strategies to do it in our classroom. So a lot of times we talk about self and we talk about my responsibility, but what does that actually mean with my students? What activities can I do with my students to build relationships? So that's what we're going to be doing here. We're very excited to have you along with us. We're going to have 6 of these throughout the year. And we're going to be offering a PDU that goes along with this. So if you want PDU credit, you just have to come to our meetings and then opt into coaching. We're going to talk more about that in September because this is our very first meeting. We just want to get things rolling, and in September we'll launch our PDU. But before we get too far, I want to make sure that we can introduce ourselves here this morning. So my name is Luke Mund, and I am the digital coach supervisor for secondary digital coaches. So I have 7 digital coaches that roughly cover 6th through 12th grade across our regions. Molly, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Molly McGrath. I'm the new digital coach for Southeast Secondary. I see some people from South here. Hello. And go ahead, Kaylee.
Hi there, my name is Kaylee Parachia, and I am a secondary digital coach for the Central region.
And hi, I'm Matthew Willems. I am the digital coach for elementary schools in the Central region, as well as the Luminary schools.
I'm Brittany Horton. I'm the digital coach for the Southeast elementary schools, and those are my sweet dance moves that are better digitally than in person.
Yeah, we're all more impressed with her Bitmoji. She is the best one for sure. All right, so if you want to drop into the chat your name, school, and position, we have quite a good group this morning, so I'm interested to get to know you guys a little bit more.
Hi, Bianca.
So KJ, Matt, welcome everyone. We have a really diverse group in here. I love it. Amy, the person who does everything for Asbury always. All right. Thank you. Nice to meet you all virtually. We know quite a few of you. I'm really happy to see so many familiar faces in here, but great to have you along with us as we dive into this PL. So again, here is the full long name for this. You made it here. Welcome. You found us on the registration. You heard about us through your school. However, welcome here. This is session 1. We will have 6 of these sessions throughout the year. With that in mind of just our reimagining schools, that we're having professional learning that goes throughout the whole year, so you don't have like one-off sessions on a bunch of different things. And we're here to support you throughout the year. These are the South and the Central coaches, and so these are the people that then are responsible for working with you. So this is really tailored to your needs, and these are the people around me that you can ask all the questions to. You can send questions to me, but they're the ones that are like actually in the schools doing all the things. They get the stuff done. I just get to look pretty. So you'll hear these all throughout the year, but just good to keep in mind are transition priorities of equity, accelerated learning by re-envisioning education, and social and emotional and mental health. Then our long-term foundation. And again, including our mindsets, which we're going to spend each of our 6 sessions on going on right there in green. And what this looks like for everybody versus local choices. So what's going on in your class, what's going in your school in your region. All right, and then just as a kind of getting started thing, if there are any tools that are not district purchased that you would like to use with your students, say later on I'm going to be presenting a podcasting tool called Anchor.fm. We have a requirement in Colorado called the Colorado Digital Privacy Act that requires that we are telling families what digital tools we are using with them. So this is a video you can watch on your own time if you don't know how to report to the ATM. It's just atm.dpsk12.org. You just log in and you would say, I would like to use Anchor.fm. You just have to add it. That is your legal requirement to comply with that law. That's it. It's a very simple thing. But if there's any tools that you hear of today that are not district purchased, you need to report it on the ATM and going throughout the whole year. We're just going to say this once. You also have to watch a video when you first become an employee of DPS. May or may not remember that, but this is something then just to do. Hopefully a lot of you are already doing that. So you can watch that on your own time. Here are our mindsets, just to kind of ground us again in these. They were called out on one of the district priority slides here. But we're going to focus on building relationships today. There's no particular order of these because there's not one that's better than the other. But we thought it would be really great to start the year out with building these relationships, because that's the first thing that we really need to do with our students. Is that if you wait till September to build relationships with your students, obviously you're going to be starting on a back foot. So we really wanted to focus today on how you can get to know your students as they're coming back to school in the next few days or in the next week. That you have those relationships with your students. So that's going to be our focus today. And we'll go into how to actually be implementing these. Does anybody have any questions so far?
Are each of the other ones that we'll do each of the different times we meet?
Yes, exactly. So today's building relationships, and then we'll do the next strategies each of our sessions throughout the year. All right. So our CRE mindset focus, I'm not going to read the slide to you. I'm going to give you a minute to read through this, but this is our building relationships definition along with the practice and the key actions that we're going to focus on today.
Will we get access to these slides to look at later on if we need?
Yep, we'll drop it in the chat. So each of the mindset has its own definition, and then it has practices and then key actions that go along with it. We're not going to be hitting every single one of the key actions, but we've pulled out 2 of those key actions to focus on today. And I like because you have the CRE mindsets as this broad thing of like building relationships, right? Self, all of these things, global context. And then as you start to get more granular, it gives you more ideas and specific things that you can do. These key actions is what we're going to be focusing on today. So as we're really diving into this. So the meat of today, like what we really want to go is we have this idea of building relationships. We have that definition. Now we're going to have 3 different breakout rooms for you to go to as to how you want to dive into this. So we have 3 strategies, and our first one is SEL incorporation. So how are you doing that social emotional learning in your school? I'm sure you've heard TCL already as we're going out throughout the year. So how do you actually do that? And we have some ideas of tools to use. The main focus is the SEL. Then how do you actually want to do that? We have some ideas. So we have Flipgrid, we have Pear Deck, and we have dialogue journals that can all be incorporated in that. So those are ideas. So if you want to learn more about social emotional learning in your class, then you can choose Breakout Session 1, which we'll go to in just a minute. Then we also have classroom management. So how can you find and access reports for your students as you're getting started? And then collecting information from your students so that you can co-create classroom expectations with students using things like Flipgrid, Jamboard, Canva, Slides, Pear Deck. That's strategy 2. Then our last strategy that you can choose from is using video to incorporate voice in your lessons. So how do we increase that student voice so that our students are actually participating? So this is going like beyond the worksheets and stuff, that we're using tools that students are recording themselves and being able to speak. So tools to get them talking would be Flipgrid, Anchor, Seesaw, and Screencastify. So we'll talk about podcasting, video creation, and stuff like that. So these are our 3 general rooms here that we're going to break into. So be thinking about which one of these strategies applies to you. This was also in the email that you got from me yesterday evening. So hopefully you've been thinking through. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to think through this here. Okay, so in the next hour, we're going to use our strategies in breakout rooms. We have exactly 62 minutes till we all come back together. So you're going to get an hour. You're going to have a coach or 2 in each of the rooms. So we'll be hosting each of the rooms to actually give you individual feedback and idea. The idea is that these rooms are really like workshops, that you're not just sitting there and listening, that we're going to give you lots of resources. We're going to be in there with you to give you individual feedback. We have a good amount of coaches and a good amount of people here today that you'll be able to actually work through these things. Or you can also choose to turn off your camera and just start working and going with some of our asynchronous tools. But we're all going to come back here at, that's actually going to be 11:05. Sorry about that. We're all going to come back at 11:05 and we'll explain that in your breakout room. So we'll all be back here. Otherwise, we have our links here. So you can either copy in the Google Meet code or you can grab it from our slide deck, which strategy you want to go. We're going to take a couple of minutes to transition ourselves here as we break into different rooms. So if you want to get up, take a bathroom break, get a glass of water or something, we're going to come back in here at 11:05. But right now we're going to go to these 3 strategies. Does anybody have any questions on that? Awesome. And you can feel free to leave this room or you can leave this one muted or whatever, but we're going to go over to these strategies. Thank you very much.